Hey there, folks. Chris McLean back with another episode. And on the show today, I have Mel from GoStory Media. And in response to the pandemic, GoStory have come up with a pandemic relief program to help local businesses optimize their digital business space first and then increase their sales and revenue. And GoStory Media is a place where they create stories to talk about the brands that they are helping. Mel, sounds very, very interesting. Thank you for jumping on the show. Thanks for being here.
Oh, thank you, Chris, for having me. This is a pleasure.
No, good to have you. Good to have you. Sounds like you've got an interesting story. Obviously, the pandemic's been a massive shift for a lot of businesses. So, take us through pre-pandemic and what happened last year and where you've transitioned and started GoStory off the back of that.
I have been an entrepreneur at heart all the time. I felt like ever since I was a teenager, and then I transitioned into going to university and different walks in life. I always worked at my own product line or my own testing few markets and everything like that. So I felt like this has been my blood for many years. But in probably the last 5 years, I've been working as a translator and also in the health department, and also working in administrative kind of management positions. And all of a sudden, the pandemic started and everything stopped. Like, that is exactly how I can describe it. Everything here stopped. And so it took me a little bit, few more weeks, and I thought, okay, they stopped, but what can I do? What is it that comes naturally to me? And I'll give you a little bit about my background. I am a product of mother and father that came and immigrated to Canada when we were very little, from Lebanon. And Lebanon is a country that was under war. So when we came to Canada many years ago, I don't want to date myself so much, but many years ago, I grew up here in Vancouver. It has been my home all my life, but I always thought that the whole world was a lot bigger than where I was. And although I really love it here and I loved everything about being and growing up in Canada, I always was thinking of the world as a global, and I've traveled all over the world. Everywhere I could go, I went. And everywhere I could go and work, I went. And I was helping people open businesses. So this is how it all started, Chris.
Oh, wow.
I started by opening businesses for people that know me, you know how word of mouth goes. And even in Canada, I've been opening businesses, shops like spas and barbershops and clothing stores and even furniture places and different places and product lines, creating new product lines, selling product lines. Those are the things that have been my everyday life for the longest time. So I really love products. I love local stores. So when that happened and everything stopped, I thought, no, 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 no. This is my time. This is my time to tell their story. And that's how GoStory Media started. We want to have this chance, not to say this is what this is and this is how much it costs. We want to say, why is it so important to have that product? Why is it so important to go into that store? So like, I have a different culture that brought me to this country. All the different businesses, the mom and pop shops that are out there, everybody has a story. Everybody has how they started and what are their fears and what are their expectations and and what are they longing for. What is their reason to open shop, and why do they go for 8 hours a day with no breaks, and then you see the owner and the big smile on their faces. So we wanted to capture that in our advertising and marketing.
Love that. Love telling a local story and really digging into the characters and the personality and the people behind those local businesses. So how do you go about telling those stories? You're telling those through social, through web, through purely digital, through shop dressing? How have you gone about helping? Obviously, there's been that big transition to digital off the back of the pandemic. So is that the channel that you're using to tell those stories?
Yes, both. The first channel is we basically make sure that the stores are all up on their graphics, on their posters, on their, we figure out how do their customers come to see them. Newspapers, articles, things like that. Local newspapers I'm talking about. As a matter of fact, we got an award right before the pandemic, on that whole year before the pandemic, opening a store from scratch. And also that store became like the #1 favorite barbershop in that city.
Oh, wow.
So we got awarded the Readers Award, like top leader readers, like the readers and the people that the consumers talked and they liked what we had. And it was like a year into the opening of that store, and then the pandemic hit, and we got an award. That was like, wow, this is so good. Before we got registered, we got an award for one of our stores before we actually registered the company, and it became like, a registered company in the government. So it was really, really interesting how this worked. I am the kind of person that when I walk into the store, either like I buy something for sure, because this is the consumer, and I don't leave until they give me business, and it comes so naturally. So it's one of those lovely things that I really I cannot describe. I just say that being a curious person is great. And knowing how to show curiosity with your eyes, with your hand gestures, with your smile. If you like something, you say you like it and why. And if you don't like something, you don't say this is bad. This is, you know what? It has a little extra sweetness that I think that if you have just a little bit sweeter, it would be just perfect. When we're talking about pastries and shops and coffee shops and things like that, there's always a way to want your customer, your client to win. Like when you really think about how can I get this shop to really win it, and really pop, in terms of the local scene. And now with everything going digital, now the digital scene, where, where I think with me being online for many years, so I would be on Twitter, on the different Facebook accounts, and it's just be like present, and not because I wanted to sell something. And that's the biggest thing that I would tell people that are interested in social media. Just be there because you're curious. That's a very good start. Very good start. And then as I started growing and knowing how I wanted to position myself and how I wanted to show up, then it just kind of like it flowed into that. It flowed into GoStory Media. It was one of those things that was so perfectly me, like just the whole digital scene. I had people that are following me on social media all of a sudden become part of the team. Like I didn't have to hire anybody. I was like, oh, I know this person. We've done this before. I know that guy. He did a logo for me before. I know that, like for different things that I liked that I didn't have to sell, like I didn't have to sell anybody, and collaborating and knowing who in what field. I just brought it together. And
Amazing.
so during the pandemic, we grew into 2 offices, one in Asia and one in Vancouver. So we could give better prices because of that. And we could reach out to more people because of that. Like we're reaching out to Australia, to New Zealand. We have, like yesterday, we got 2 extra clients from your your
My
world.
part of the world.
And I was like, oh, yay. Does that mean that we're going to be coming over and visiting you? That's awesome.
Yeah, hopefully soon. Hopefully it'll open up and we can all start visiting each other.
So yeah,
that,
so it opened up to web. So now we do web. We're doing websites. We do everything that is on the web. So I moved into tech just for one reason, to after we do tech, we go into sales. And I wanted, like, I asked for a year. I said to people and to stores and to shop owners, what is the one thing in the COVID recovery that you want to see? You know what I mean? Like, what change do you want? What do you want at the end of the day? More customers and more sales. Those are the two things. Now, how can we drive it? How can we drive it? And that's where we're going into right now.
Yeah, love it. I mean, what business doesn't want more marketing
Yeah,
and more customers, or more customers
definitely.
and more sales? So you talk about being global. How do you maintain that local presence, that local, as you're saying right up front, you're telling that personal story, and it's all about street and the neighborhood, and it's has that very local feel to it. How do you maintain that feel and that type of storytelling when you're talking to a customer in Melbourne or Sydney who you've never been there, right? You've never visited, or someone in Asia where you haven't physically been to that place. How do you start to tease out that story? Is it really just focusing on the personality and the people behind the business and getting them to bring their story to life?
Yeah, I hear you, Chris, because I was thinking of that today as as I was, thinking of how to do this. The thing that we have created for Canada stays in Canada, like that. We're not changing that.
Right.
We are right now. Our website is going. We're creating a new one that would be a little bit easier to focus and to realize what we could offer people in terms of services. But number two, the second thing, we're building a digital platform for local businesses here in Canada. I don't want to sort of like give out the secret because we haven't really launched yet, but it's kind of like a digital mall where we would be able to talk about the local business, talk about what they sell, and also have different coupons, different things that they are doing, and also distribute, like us as GoStory Media, eventually going into the distribution of the products as well to the end user,
Okay,
or to the other stores. Yeah. So this is where we're going locally. This is our local perspective. At the same time, we have few things that we can do globally, where we can set up the website the way that the client wants, and the way that they really, would feel like we're able to capture their vision, or what they need. Plus, we do have web hosting, and we have different products that could be global. So not all the things that we could offer would be local, but the global part are things that are attached to our websites and like the web services, more SEO, positioning them in terms of on the world of the digital, so social media, Google. Those are the things that also we do.
Okay. And in those mediums, because you have done that local storytelling, are you bringing that aspect to those brands?
Yeah.
And essentially, you have this amazing curiosity and this perspective on loving local business. So I'd love to imagine that's what you're bringing as kind of a unique differentiator to the clients that you work with, is really getting into that storytelling and the character and personality of that the business and the people behind it.
Like, there's also a technical aspect to it, where, Chris, I have to learn how your real estate works in Australia, because it's so different than here. How are we going to help out real estate agents? I mean, that's one of our clients is a broker.
Yeah, right.
How do you do that? So it's the research that we do. I don't believe in cut and paste kind of formulas. Just give me the theme and I will just stuff it with information, and then there's your website. So we do custom design, and I do have a couple of local web designers that I've had to, I've connected with here locally, that together we came into creating something that would be very functional to a lot of different different industries. Yeah. So we
Yeah, so I
have
guess
to
that,
learn. We have to learn about
yeah,
every, like, the client. Yeah.
yeah. Imagine that is the challenge when you're trying to get to
Yeah.
the heart of what that business is about. You also, as you're saying, have to have that expertise in how do you sell real estate in Melbourne versus Vancouver versus
Yeah.
somewhere in Asia. You've got to understand that the industry and how it works and the technicalities of how you can actually speak about and sell those services, right? So,
Hmm.
yeah, interesting. So, your team is based in Vancouver and based in Asia.
Yeah.
Are you
Countries.
looking to expand that team out as you sort of move into different areas?
Yeah, I do have three phases to GoStory Media. The first phase is the one that we're working on right now, where we're setting ourselves digitally, we're setting everybody around us that is, wanting to work with us also in the same digital way. Not exactly the same, but digitally, like to be able to be a little bit more fluid, and also branding them. So this is where that's phase number one. Phase two is going to be here local, where we're going to end up getting storage, as well as a big a big office, a big office, where we're going to be actually selling and distributing products. So
Okay.
we're taking that to the next level, where we're going to be taking it to, like, either selling it in terms of delivery or having to deliver. Those are the two things. And it's niche markets, it's niche stores, like, I'm not going into mass market products, just very simple things, natural, things that you could tell the story, and it would be meaningful. I have one guy in Toronto. I have to tell people why his tomato sauce costs 4 times more than what's in the market. you know I mean, how are we going to get those little jars going from place to place? I don't like just product placement. No, there's got to be a purpose. There's a reason why we eat. Being mindful is like, there's a reason why I put my earring on. There's a reason why I do my hair the certain way, the makeup that I use. Those are the things that we really like, the food that we consume. Going to, why do I go to this uh, gym versus that gym? Those are the different things. And the world is big enough for everybody. It's like, when you think about how the world is huge and it's big enough for everybody, then we don't feel that we're in competition with each other. That's where
Yeah.
more collaboration can happen. Yeah. And people
So,
through the pandemic have been so kind.
yeah,
So
yeah, it's been
kind.
an interesting uptick as well when we sort of all go through something like this together. You hope that community kind of rises out of that, right?
Yeah.
So tell me, how do you tell that story of a tomato sauce that's 4 times the price? What's
Ah.
the compelling reason? What's the why? Is it because it's vine ripened and it's lovingly cared for and tended? What's the why? How do you go about telling that story
Oh.
to sell it?
Oh, it is really, really interesting. First of all, I really like to have them here with me. So to physically have them is really
Yeah.
great. I do have them here in my office, but
Mhm.
yeah, I've never really had someone grab a spoon and open one of those jars and eat it right from from the jar. It's just incredible how authentic it is and how tasty it is. So you go into either different, like, 1 minute videos where you can go on social media and talk about it. You could tell people how it smells, how what it looks like, what is it good for. There are a lot of people like before pandemic, where they're very, very meticulous in terms of the ingredients. You're like, if it has one extra ingredient that is not supposed to be there, they'd be like, nope, this is not natural. Oh, this is not organic, you know? So the story about this jar starts from a recipe, an Italian recipe of the owner that he's had. His grandfather had it, his dad had it. And every day they go and they stir the tomatoes in and they make new batches, you know. And with all the technology that we have, they still do it the old fashioned way, you know. It's still done the old fashioned way. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of ways that you could talk about it, but experiencing also the product is really good. So I always would tell people that are trying to advertise for someone, try it first. You be that, the ambassador of that product, if you may, you know, and talk about it. Yeah, it's a legacy. Like some products are someone's legacy, you know. So you got to treat it with very, like, even with care. Yeah.
Yeah, it's being respectful of they said the legacy, and this is someone's life, right, and their business, and this is for things like this, it's their life's work, right? When they fit their hand making tins of tomatoes, it's not just about the end product, it's everything that goes into it. And they say it's the heritage and the history, and it's my grandfather's recipe from the old country, and there's a lot that goes into that one little jar. So yeah, I love that curiosity, and that you're sort of sparking that curiosity in others by.
And I think with Gary Vee, he always says, "Be that practitioner." You know, just experiment. You know, like, why are we always saying this way is the best way to do it? You experiment different things, see what gets traction. You know, figure out where your customers are, what takes, where does the traction go, and then put it all in when you figure out your way. And I think it's really good. Yeah, I mean, I'm curious actually to, after the pandemic, how people are going to be. Are we going to be very ingredient kind of, I don't know what the word would be, but focused, or we would, are we going to be mindful, or like, I know for myself with the pandemic, I'm like, bring in the Clorox. I want the alcohol. If the sanitizer did not smell like the alcohol, I know I didn't want it, you know. And I'm a natural person, you know, so I'm curious to find out, are we going to go back into what is the better ingredient to feed myself, or put on myself, or whatever is cheaper, I just don't want to have COVID, you know, like, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess it depends on the perspective and mindset, right? If you believe that health and immunity and that's the thing that's going to help you going forward, then yeah, I guess you'd be very, very cognizant of, you know, is this organic? Is it the right ingredients? Is it natural? Is it something that's going to boost my immune system and make me healthier?
Yeah.
But I guess, yeah, on the other hand, it really depends there's a whole lot of factors. There's economic factors. There's a whole lot of things that, you know, people that are sort of desperate in economic situations that aren't easy can make different choices to people that aren't. So yeah, I think that we take the pandemic as a whole, there's a whole lot of possibilities. But yes, hopefully we come out of it, they said, with this sort of curious mindset and sort of wanting to build ourselves back up from a healthy perspective, and have that be more mindful about the ways we consume and the things that we consume.
Yeah. You know, the third, I forgot to talk about my
phase three.
Phase three. The phase three was California. I would say one word, California, USA. So our office, we have to have an office in America. So this is where my
Nice.
it is, yeah. We have a lot of American products we sell and we use, and to have an office there to be there with the brands, you know, the brands, those ones, more beauty, more, you know, self-care, more beauty. Yeah. So California, here we come.
Here we
No
come.
more rain.
Yeah, great place to spend those Vancouver winters, I imagine. Move down and get some California sun. Sounds a plan.
We like to dream, dream. I feel that everybody in this pandemic needs to have a dream, to dream big. And even if you don't get everything that you dream about, you get pretty close. That's pretty good. That's a win.
And say shoot for the clouds and you end up in the treetops. It's pretty good. It's better than being on the ground, I guess. Something like that. That was a horrible paraphrase, but so I like what you're saying. Shoot big, dream big. Amazing, Mel. So much value. Really enjoyed our chat today. If people want to find out more about you, work with you, just connect with you, where's the best place for them to come and find you?
Oh, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is good. TikTok is good. It depends on how casual do you want, but yeah, LinkedIn is the best place to reach us. And also, you could always do also our website, info@GoStoryMedia.com. And yeah, watch out for us. We're going to be on YouTube too, so hopefully we will get some good YouTube content out there and see if we can make it on the shorts. The shorts are always, it's going to be a big thing, FYI.
Yeah, it's coming. Yeah,
big thing.
Shorts
So yeah, for you to get all your small social media things that you've done on Snapchat, on TikTok, off on YouTube, you're going to have lots of fun. But be careful with the music because YouTube does
copyright issues. And that also don't like it's got the TikTok logo and branding on it as well. They'll can it for that too.
Yeah, we have to take. Yeah, there are ways to
take the raw footage out.
Yeah.
Awesome. Good tip. Yeah, definitely something to watch out for is YouTube Shorts. Yeah, it seems to be booming. Amazing. Thank you so much, Mel. Plenty of really great ideas. I love your passion and your curiosity for local business and diving in and telling those stories and bringing those to the world. Really enjoyed the chat. I'm sure people tuning in from all over the world got a lot out of it too. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Chris, for this program. This is one of the best programs I have ever seen in terms of the podcast world. Keep on at it. Keep on doing it. And I hope to have you here in Vancouver soon.
One day, yes. Well, I'm saying it's definitely on my bucket list, right up the top there. So I'd love to get out there and we'll go do some moose sightings or something.
Yeah, deer.
Deer and moose, amazing. Yeah. Sounds fabulous. Thank you so much. Thanks everyone for tuning in. And until next time, stay well and we'll see you on the next episode.